Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Adobe Live. I'm so pumped to be here. My name is Voodoo Val. I'm going to be your host this morning for an epic illustration segment, and I am joined by my new best friend, Jess. Jess, how are you doing today?
I am so happy to be here and slightly less nervous than the last time I was on Adobe Live. So
excellent.
That is a winning for me.
That is what I like to hear. And we are going to kind of jump into a little bit about you, the kind of work you do and all that good stuff. But first, I would like to make a few small announcements. First, hello to everyone in the chat. I see Sean and Ferry, Annika, Cody Bear in the house. It's good to see all of you folks. Ryan Marsh, welcome in. I know, Cody's so great. Cody's wonderful.
Yay.
It's good to see all of you folks in the chat. If you are over on the YouTube chat and you're wondering who the heck I'm talking to, because you don't see any of these people in the chat, that is because we are over on behance.net/live. We are talking over here in the Behance chat. That is where the party's at. That is where you can get all of the helpful resources and links that our moderators will link to you. It is where you can find out more information about Jess, get the links to her portfolio and all that good stuff. So please come over to Behance. And lastly, if you missed the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge these past couple of weeks, we actually just kicked off with the replays with Kathleen this morning. So if you want to go back and watch the replay for the challenges, you can do that. You can also tune in tomorrow and for the next weekdays after this at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, because that is when those challenges will be rebroadcast. So I hope you will check those things out. But for now, without further ado, who are you, Jess? What do you do? What do you love? What is your favorite flavor of ice cream? Like what is it? Tell me, give me the deets.
Ooh, all right, ice cream. Now I'm kind of stuck on that. Lately,
sorry, derailed.
Right? Now I want ice cream. On that note, Flanty, it's like a caramel crunch. So good. Highly recommend.
I just got a heart flutter, just so you know.
Right?
Ooh, okay.
But hi. Hello, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Adobe, for having me. Val, thank you for being your awesome self, because the world needs you.
Oh, you're wonderful.
No argument.
Stop. This is about you, girl. It's about you.
All right. So about me. Hi, my name's Jess Telmanik. I'm a multidisciplinary designer and artist. Basically, what that means is I like a lot of creative things. I love modular origami. I crochet to kind of shut off the world.
I do too.
I love crocheting. I got yarn recommendations for you later then.
All right.
I pay most of my bills doing graphic design. I work with a lot of high-end luxury real estate, a lot of restaurants, coffee shops, small businesses, a bunch of different things like that. And then also in the last 2 years, I've started doing illustration work. There's a book, what an MBA taught me, but my kids made me learn, by B. Ray. I did illustrations for that. That was in bookstores last December. So that was kind of like a new thing. Way simpler illustrations than we're going to look at today.
Okay. But hey, that's amazing. You've got a book in stores with your stuff in it. That's
one day it's going to be a children's book too. It was, it was surreal because I went to Barnes and Noble and it was on the shelf.
Oh my god!
She lives in another state.
Oh my!
So it was a very weird moment to be like, oh my goodness,
it's me.
It's me. This. That's me. Like I did that thing, and it's there now.
Congratulations! That's so cool.
So those are things. Other than that, I'm a huge book nerd. Love to read. Sci-fi books are like my escape world. I'm a horrible ukulele player.
Okay.
But I've been doing it for about 4 or 5 years now, and I can actually kind of play a couple songs by memory. It's not something I'm never going to have an album ever.
Oh, okay. Never say never. I mean, I would listen. I would give it a courtesy listen at least once. Like I would definitely try it
with a disclaimer warning, like,
yeah.
no.
Only the one time, Jess. Only the one time. So, so what are we going to be working on today? What are we kind of jumping into? What's the deal today?
Today, and I apologize, you guys. I love talking to Val so much. I was going to kind of show you some things on my iPad, and it decided it's not playing around with me. So we are just going to jump into things.
Okay.
And we're going to be doing an illustration in Adobe Illustrator on the iPad.
Yes, I love it.
I when Adobe started doing its apps for the iPad, it really kind of was a game changer for what I thought I could do versus what I can do. So I'm really excited to play in this. I was fortunate enough to be part of a pre-release and kind of have been playing with this since the second I could. And I do also, before I dive into my art, there are so many people here today that I really got to say hi to.
Yes, please do.
Cody Bear, I love you. I'm so glad you're here. Wade, Ryan is the best. Stephen, I saw Ferry on there earlier, and Annika, and just like everybody that's joining today. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. And Sean and Fabio. Oh my goodness, there's so many people. Okay. Got to create art.
I'm seeing some cool folks. I'm seeing also a couple of new folks too, which is great. Yes. If you are new in the chat, please let us know. We would love to give you a very warm welcome. If you are a returning serial Adobe Live watcher, please holler at us as well, because it's always good to say hello to our regular friends.
Yes.
Annika says they're excited. I agree. I also am excited. So let's jump into it. So when it comes to Illustrator on iPad, I am absolutely infatuated. I try to dive into it every once in a while, so I know a little bit of my way around, but I'm kind of excited to see like your process and how you really jump into this, because I think it's probably going to help me too personally, just with trying to dive into this even
I am
more,
totally for that. I believe in you. I know your skills. You got this too.
Thank you.
So I'm kind of starting already with my file, but if you haven't used Adobe Illustrator on the iPad yet, it's really simple to kind of go in, start everything you're working on. Very similar setups to desktop. In terms of, you can enter your sizes to decide what dimensions. I can't think of the word I'm going for. That thing that inches and pixels
the inches,
are. That
the corners and the sides.
You can do those things.
Yeah. Okay.
But I kind of wanted to have things ready to go. And since you all are being so patient, I'm going to give you the little shot of my sketch that I'm going to be doing. Those that aren't familiar with me, I am a huge mental health warrior. I think life happens to a lot of us. I think a lot of us try and push through everything, and we're all together. We're less alone than it feels. So this is kind of an illustration to represent that growth. So before we get into the nitty gritty and the drawing, I am not one of those people that were blessed with the ability to perfectly replicate and draw something so it looks like lifelike. Those are the people I constantly look at and I'm like, wow, well, I could do that too. Yeah. Like, how do you make that happen?
Totally.
So I'm not one of those people. So I like stock photos and I like reference photos. And while I have some on, I kind of just want to show anybody new to Adobe that there is Adobe stock.
Yes.
And this is a shout out to my partner, some of his photography.
Cool.
Yes.
Nice.
That he has on Adobe stock. We're not using any of it today, but I do have something I've been working on for a bit. But for anyone that's new to it, I love Adobe stock images. The templates for working on your portfolio are life-saving. There's a lot of things in here that I've found and I've really used. So kind of went on Adobe stock. And then I have some photos already ready that I'm going to kind of reference for different
Nice.
parts of my drawing.
I
Things
love it.
like the roots going into the tree branches. I'm really bad at drawing people. You can kind of take a look at my art and realize I avoid going too realistic for all of them.
I love it. I might be super biased because I think you're great, but I think we can all agree that your characters are pretty rad. So
Thank you. And
I will not allow you to downplay that, Jess. Not gonna happen.
You're the best, Val. And I do want to shout out Sean Kozel just pointed out in the chat, there is free Adobe stock images.
Yes.
There are templates. There is a bunch of stuff in there. If you play around with Adobe Dimension, there's a bunch of objects and textures. So definitely check it out. If you haven't, there's more in there than you probably realize. I keep finding stuff every time I go on there and I'm like, oh,
I do too. It's actually really, really fabulous. It's super cool. And it's also nice if there's anybody in chat who has just like never really got to dive in and kind of use Adobe stock. That free section, it kind of gives you an opportunity to get in there and explore and check it out. And there are so much available because in my opinion, like sometimes, things will release and they're like, well, we have a free version. And then you kind of just end up not, you use a different version anyways, because it's not, what you had hoped for. Free Adobe stock is what you're hoping for. It is the good stuff. It really is. It is awesome. So get in there and try it. Also, I see we've got a couple of people who have announced that they are new. We got Sarah is new.
Hi, Sarah.
Raphael is new. Welcome in. It is so good to see you. Also, I just got a shout out. We have a magical name in the chat, and I always like to call out people that have fabulous names. Kindred Rain. That is
I'm loving that.
Beautiful. Ooh, I can feel the vibes. That's
I feel it because it's literally raining outside.
Ooh.
So that's perfect.
I'm loving it. So welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us. And let's see how you kind of get started here.
So for new people joining us, this is Adobe Illustrator on the iPad. You have two options when it comes to drawing in, and you've got a pencil tool and a blob tool. I'm a pencil tool girl. I never really liked it on the desktop much, but on the iPad, it's my go-to. And for this, I'm just I have this thing when I create, usually what I create doesn't end up being exactly how it looks in the end. But I try and get close. And I do want to kind of give a warning for everybody. I'm doing this with the nice little blue dot on it, so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And it's a bit different. Dot on there.
I like this where I can see it, but I understand because I've done it once or twice too, where you're using the iPad normally when you're not streaming, and you don't use the blue dot for yourself, obviously, but so that people can see on the stream where your cursor actually is, because they're not looking at your iPad. We have the blue dot, and it does feel a little weird. It does. I feel
practice.
Strange.
I did practice this last week. I practiced. I'm like, ooh, this is weird. I should probably figure out how to do this first.
I'm get comfortable with it. Yeah, there's been a few things like that, because it is like, I think it's kind of like those something versus reality memes where you have like how something is, and then like
what it really is.
I don't think I realized until I started streaming a lot, like how things like change a little bit, just so that there's no disconnect between the presenter and content to like audience, and that's one of those things that you don't really think of. So I think you're doing fabulous. I'm loving this. And you said that you are a pencil tool kind of gal, and you didn't really like it that much on the desktop, but you are kind of jamming with it now here in Illustrator on the iPad. And the other tool was the Blob tool.
Yes.
Can I ask what the difference is between those? Because I have not used the Blob tool myself.
All right. So for the pencil tool, that's what we were just using here to kind of roughly do some of my outlines. Just warning everybody, I might clean up some of these shapes. I might not. We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
But for the pencil tool, I have the fill selected and an outline selected. color. So that's why I'm getting that shape. I can actually go in here, open my color slider panel, do whatever I want with the color. But starting off complex illustrations like this, I really prefer to have as clean as palette as possible. And sometimes I'll hold on to that and I'll turn it into a coloring book page later. So it's like multitasking kind of thing.
Oh my gosh. Okay, look at you. Very productive. I see you.
So I try. So we got the pencil tool. So that was, this gives me a shape like that. And you got your nice outline. So for the blob tool, the blob is where you get some selection for brushes.
Okay.
There will be more brushes.
Okay.
Things, people in app development know. There'll be more brushes. We're getting there. But for, on the pencil, you just have that option of kind of a line, fill in your interior. But for the blob brush, you can choose a brush size. And we were gonna do the basic chisel.
Okay.
And you can also then increase your brush size.
Oh man, we're getting fancy.
So you got that.
Whoa.
Yeah. Also, if anybody sees me do 2 dots like that, it's undo. That's my favorite part of iPad drawing technology. The undo button.
Oof.
It makes a difference.
It's magical. The undo button is literally one of my best friends. We know each other very, very well. We've had a long-standing, powerful friendship for a lot of years now. And it never leaves me behind, never forgets me. It's always there when I need it.
That's why no matter what, I wish life had an undo button sometimes.
I wish life had an undo button when I'm trying to style my eyebrows and or eyeliner and get one wrong and then have to keep drawing them to try and make them match.
Any girly thing, nail polish.
Let me get an undo button for accidentally dropping my soda in public like I did 2 days ago. That was great. I got startled and I chucked a Coca-Cola into the air in public. Yeah. Undo button for that, please. Come on, Adobe.
Here's the positive spin. Here's the positive spin. You didn't hit yourself in the face or with anybody else.
How do you know?
Oh.
Yeah. So you were drawing.
I was drawing. I'm going to go back to this. I'm actually going to let Norsh, he asked in the chat about, is that a calligraphy brush? And yes, the blob tool, that flat chisel. See, I totally changed the subject for you, Val. That flat chisel brush could be really well used for calligraphy. And you can also, I'm going to go back in here. Once again, I said that's not my favorite tool, but I do just kind of want to show people. So for the basic chisel brush, you can adjust your smoothness. So if your smoothness is really low.
Oh, nice.
You have that. But, oops. Do you like how I just draw over my drawing?
I love it. I love it.
So, but with the smoothing on, you get a very airy,
it's just creamy. It's really
it's like soft serve. Oh,
yeah.
I'm gonna have to get ice cream later.
I know. I'm sorry. I started this whole thing, and now it's a big deal. Annika says, I ask this all the time, but have you ever tried to undo on a sketchbook? Oh yeah, absolutely. I've tried to, I bring up the whole eyebrows thing because, and I've said this before, I have literally been doing my makeup and reached for Command Z. And then I was like, what am I doing? What's happening? I've got Adobe on the brain.
This is where this sketch started out at. Bunch of sketches.
Reach for it?
I can't tell you how many times I've been sitting there drawing and I'm like,
double tap,
just 2 fingers. And I'm like, oh, did anybody just see that?
I know. You look around.
Thank goodness I'm alone. Nobody saw that.
Gosh. I did that in my house one time and my sister was like, did you just try to undo? And I was like, you know what? You should mind your business. You should. I don't. Me alone.
No, not at all. Not me.
I've never done that before in my life. John says, "Hey there, is Illustrator for iPad different to Illustrator Touch for Surface? Cheers." I'm not sure. I have only used Illustrator on my iPad. I haven't tried to use Illustrator on any other kind of mobile device. it was my
Agree.
understanding that it's kind of it's Illustrator for iPad. But I could be. Let me actually see if I can hunt down that answer for you.
Yeah, I'm curious about that now too. I'm an Apple girl, so that's why I can't answer.
I'm
They
an
got me
Apple
young.
girl when it comes to like working mobily, but I'm a PC girl because you girls gotta play Skyrim. Like I gotta play the video games, and I need a PC for that. I mean, I've
I
played
totally get
Skyrim
it.
on a Mac, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
And see, I think my thing is I'm a little old school. Noticed by my non-blonde highlights. So
oh, honey, that is so. I love your hair.
I know you do.
I
you.
do.
Thank you. But so when I first started doing graphic design, when I first went to school for graphic design, it was 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point in time, Apple was it. Like that's what you use to do graphic design. When I was using like Adobe Illustrator CS3 desktop, that was industry standard. So I think still in my brain, I'm always kind of like, I can't use that. I don't want to use a PC. It doesn't feel right.
It does feel very, very different, like going back and forth between the two for sure. If there's anybody in chat who's ever like, maybe you have a PC at home and you have a Mac at work, because there's a lot of businesses that have, Mac computers available and stuff. It is definitely a strange thing. And I will admit that some of it is like not all video games. It's like a stubbornness where I'm just like, you know what? I can learn how to use the iPad.
I can do it.
Other than that, I'm so comfortable with PC because I've been using it for so many years that I'm just like, however, I did show up to the Adobe HQ one time, and everybody else pulled out their Mac laptops, and I pulled out like my gaming laptop and was like, yeah, let's get to work. And they were like, that's new.
That?
That's weird.
Why
Val.
are you using that?
I'm not, also, by the way, I'm not really finding an answer for your question, John, but I'm going to keep hunting. I'm sure that we have a moderator kind of looking around for a solution as well, and we'll let you know. Ryan is saying, my favorite Illustrator on iPad thing is Rotate Canvas. Helpful for illustration work. Yes. What would you say is like a go-to kind of feature for you, Jess, that you can't live without? It could be a tool. It could be like a feature like Rotate the Canvas, or, what is something for you that you're just like, you know what? Don't ever get rid of this.
I 1000% agree with Ryan. Rotate Canvas was a huge change. I mean, I was never salty that we didn't have it at the very beginning because I just rotated my iPad.
Yeah. There you go.
But I appreciate so much. Like, I really do think that the developers and the people behind this app have put a lot of hard work into it. And I've built an iPad app before. It's still in the iPad Apple Store. Coding makes me cry. I have so much love for anybody that does coding because I can do it and I don't want to do it.
I draw pictures and I can code. I've learned to code.
I can make a beautiful 30-page brochure. I'd rather do that in like half an hour.
Not a 30-page website, because I'll tell you, my coding is very inelegant. It is not. It is a disaster. It's kind of like, my coding is kind of like your Photoshop files before you send them to a client and or a teammate. It's just not. There's some people that can code and it looks like a perfect template that you would purchase, someplace all the time. Mine looks like something that people are like, do you know how to use Photoshop? Do you understand that you can organize this and make it easy to use for yourself? And I'm like, you know what? That's fair.
That sounds like a lot of work though.
Yeah.
Right? Just go with what works for you. Everybody wants to be like, no, you have to do it this way.
Yeah, you kind of have to find your own groove and do it and do it your way. There are really great other ways to do things. That's the thing with Adobe products, I think, is that there's so much in each program that you can pretty much find, your own way of kind of forging your path, right, within each program, which is cool. I say that, because people are like, well, should I learn how to do it the right way? And we've just talked like there isn't really a right way. I would say you use what feels great to you in the moment, but keep your options open, because you may find yourself in a situation where time is money, and you can't really afford to do it the long way or do it the way that's super satisfying. You should kind of have an idea of some other techniques to do things, just in case you're in a pinch and you need to do something pretty quickly. That's always great. But if you have the time to just enjoy your process and stuff, do it the way you want to do it. Do it the way that makes you happy.
Agreed. Life is too short for that.
We've got a lot of folks in the chat talking about PC versus Mac.
Ooh, it's such a debatable topic too.
Yeah.
It's an intense one.
Allison just bought a Mac for the first time in 20 years, never going back. Felix can use both, but is mainly on PC. Brittany is just like me. We've got an iPad and then PC desktop. So yeah, you know what's up, Brittany.
Yeah, like, I mean, I try and love everybody as long as they're not a jerk. So PC, Mac, whatever brings you joy. I'm awesome. Just if you're PC, I don't want to touch your keyboard because it always feels funny. Yeah, that's true. It feels off.
I'm exactly like you. I love everyone as long as they're not a jerk and they don't say GIF. It's GIF. Just that's the song. I'm kidding. You folks know I'm kidding. I'm so kidding.
I just, anytime anybody wants to argue that, I just, it's not graphic interface format. It's graphic interface format. And that was game changer when I finally learned that, like years after I should have learned that. Way longer after I learned it. And I was like, I don't know how to say it. And somebody asked me one time, they're like, you're a graphic designer. Aren't you supposed to know stuff like this? I'm like, I don't know. People keep arguing about it. I can't follow.
Yeah.
But the graphic interface format, that's what helped it like kind of stick.
Thank you. I appreciate you standing this idea that I have.
I got
offering facts. Yes, I did. Hakeem, yes. Draw the line at GIF. Thank you. I need that on a t-shirt, Jess. I try to love everyone as long as they're not a jerk. That's a perfect t-shirt. Kristen, I feel like Illustrator is so different. I do the original illustrations on the iPad, then move to the desktop. Hey, that's a great workflow. And with the power of Adobe Creative Cloud, you can do that seamlessly and easily. That was my announcer voice.
That was beautiful. I actually, can I request for the rest? I can't even do it in a serious voice. Like I can't even.
The whole rest of the time. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adobe Live. Thank you for joining us. Yes. Here we have Jess Telmanik, who is doing some illustration. We're going to listen to the soft, sultry taps of her pen on the iPad as we listen to her draw.
I was a college dropout, so I had many years before I went back to school. And during those years, I bartended, I worked in hotels, I worked in retail, but I did answer phones for hotels. So
nice. That is
good afternoon. Really Thank you for joining me and Val here on Adobe Live.
Yes.
We're so grateful you all joined us today. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow at the same time as well.
Yeah. Thank you for staying. Have a wonderful day. The rest of the stream is going to be like this. We're going to start putting people to sleep, but like in a good way. In a good way.
Hey, if it helps relax people and everybody's happy, like I'm good with that.
Annika says, Val, I'm reminded of Alex and memes. It's memes. So Alex Lazarus, who is another wonderful, fabulous human that comes to create for us here on Adobe Live. He likes to pronounce memes, memes. That's not the move, folks.
I might start doing that though, because I kind of like that.
Well, it's been really fun hanging out with you folks today. Unfortunately, I've got to run. I got to go.
If Jess isn't doing this, nope. What happened with Val? I started calling memes.
Jess totally could have been an electronic voice then. Yes. What's up, Bliss?
Yes, thank you.
Southwest right there, says Kristen. So what are we doing now? We've got like some more elements kind of coming in here.
Yeah.
We've got the sun, we've got this cloud kind of moving in, and it looks like you're bringing in some of your reference. Tell me about it.
Oh yeah, we're using this reference photo solidly just so we can have the overall shape. We're not even going to pretend with this one. The only way I'm getting this one right is if I trace out that basic outline. So
yeah,
this is what we're doing here. And so what I did right before that, I had moved my reference photo to its own layer because I kind of wanted it above everything I've drawn so far. And then I created another layer that I will be drawing on in a second. But I had selected my layer and then went over here to my properties panel. Oops, I need to make sure it's selected first. Went over to my properties channel and I went down to the bottom and did the opacity bar. This way I can kind of make sure I'm in the area I want to do this. Granted, I'll probably move this layer around. It's a little bit easier if I just kind of start off with it here.
Nice.
So yeah, we're using that faithful pen tool and like literally, no, I don't want you.
I don't want this.
I don't want this.
This is not what I asked for.
What are you doing here?
I don't know why you're a goblin with an accent in this timeline that I'm narrating, but I just thought it was appropriate.
I'm cool with that.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, like I awesome. No offense. We're solid. We're
okay,
good.
Cool.
And I don't know, we might do some more detail of this person, but right now we're just kind of do.
Just getting a little shape in there. I like it.
And we'll see how the time goes.
Okay, maybe I just want to say, Jess, this is so satisfying to watch. It is so satisfying, like watching this line go around and kind of fill.
Good, I'm glad because I realized I should have left room for the armholes. We're gonna have to hit undo here.
No! Well, we get to see it again.
That's okay.
We'll
do round two because I stopped right there and I was like, that's not gonna work, is that? Because I want my hands on top. So this is part of my brain's going, all right, if we might not go super detailed, but I do want, that in front of this. So we're actually gonna do another layer, I think, in here.
Well, if you end up wanting to still make it all the same, I think you can also use the shape builder tool if you decide you want to combine some stuff.
You are correct.
Look at me knowing stuff about this.
I know. Look at you go. So I have found throughout all this that merging, using the shape tool and merging different objects can sometimes get kind of a little funny with when you're using a lot of gradients.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So I try not to, and that is actually part of the reason I go with the pencil tool versus the blob tool.
Okay.
There's a few things that have happened where I'm like, I learned a while ago. I was like, we're not dealing with that. We're just going to do it this way. Yeah, we'll deal with that later. So yeah, I'm going to draw. Ooh.
That was like the internal sound I make every time I also draw. Right. Ooh, why? I mean, I thought it was wonderful, but
I totally know. I get it.
To yourself doing it,
Yeah, no, there's sound effects. I don't know who's gonna be joining us today, so I'm not even gonna say some of the words that I also sometimes say and think outside because those my mom's watching. Hi, Mom. I love you. She's not happy when I swear, so I definitely can't do it right now.
We're not gonna use sentence enhancers
no
on the stream, but sometimes they are used in private. Yes. I don't know. I realized that I can't just get up here and make SpongeBob jokes and just assume that people are going to know what I'm talking about. But if anybody got that joke, please, please holler at me in the chat. Because
I need to get in SpongeBob. I need to
get into classic SpongeBob, not new SpongeBob. Classic SpongeBob is where it's at.
There's like vintage SpongeBob then?
Just SpongeBob that came out first. Before it became funny. You need the good. I'll send you some links. Of SpongeBob. This is by far the weirdest thing I've ever promised to send somebody.
Some like usually SpongeBob links?
Can you send me like some resources? People in chat, hey Val, can you send me some brushes? And I'm just like, you know what? Let me just send you a link to some good SpongeBob. let me just send you the quality SpongeBob links.
I mean, personally,
so
I think it kind of matches.
Of, subpar SpongeBob.
I think it matches our conversation so far.
I think it does.
Like, I think SpongeBob is a nice progression of where we're going with this.
Illustration stream talking about our favorite flavors of ice cream, so it works.
Yes.
Also, I love how you are building this character. Like, you're putting these shapes in and everything, and I'm telling you, it is like super. It's like belongs on one of those like reels of super satisfying like visuals, just watching this tool kind of trace and just make these shapes is just so perfect.
It's very chill. It's relaxing.
It's like almost meditative and therapeutic. Like, I love it. Like, I'm definitely, when I get off of this stream, I'm definitely going to go try this. I really am. I'm super excited. I use Photoshop on iPad, Fresco, and Illustrator on iPad. Yep.
Not as often as I would want to, because there's that whole stupid adulting thing and paying bills.
I know, you gotta like do things.
We're trying to get to the point where literally I just draw all day. That is the dream, and I wish it for anyone that wants it.
Yep. I also use I probably use Fresco the most out of all of the mobile apps. I'm in Fresco like every single day. I love Fresco so much, but I have actually been jumping into a lot of Photoshop on the iPad, because I've been doing some graphic design jobs like on the go and just doing them in Photoshop on the iPad. So I've been like putting together promos and everything, and then I just like, I can share it for feedback and all kinds of stuff and just do it right there. And I think the same is true for Illustrator on the iPad, is you can do some cool stuff on the go, and you can share your files, and you can do all kinds of stuff, and it's just it's amazing. It's amazing.
I've actually used it to design, I think 3 or 4 logos this year.
Wow, nice.
So, and it wasn't necessarily the full design, but it was like pieces of it, and they were things that were so much easier versus going on a desktop for me.
No, it feels really natural to do it like in just like have the whole device with you in front of you, where you can really get your hands on it and like dig in. It's definitely a different sort of thing, and I can do things on the the desktop, but like sometimes it just feels better to do it on the iPad, right?
For me, there's something about the control of a pencil that just it makes such a difference. There's so many people that have live stream on Behance, both themselves and Adobe, and they'll honestly, Val, you're one of them that do these crazy, like complex, beautiful things on like desktop. And I'm over here going, I don't think I ever, like outside of college, like I don't think I ever did a, crazy manipulated cool thing in Photoshop until it hit iPad. And then I'm in there going like, drawing out things,
look at
things
me
there, like.
I will tell you though, because I think that we like look at other artists a lot, and we're just like, why can't, but they can. I promise you, a lot of the time, whenever I'm doing like a big crazy photo manipulation or like a gigantic painting of some kind, especially when I'm streaming it here on stream, I'm like, hey everybody, welcome to Adobe Live. We're gonna do X, Y, and Z. It's gonna be great. Inside my head, sometimes I'm just screeching, just a long screech, just like because I think I think that we perceive other people's art in such a different way than they do themselves, because it's not ours, but it's I think my point here is if you're not doing something like somebody else is doing it, don't feel bad, and if you want to do something like somebody else is doing it, then it takes some time. But I've said never assume that it's we're
our worst critics.
Yeah, totally. We're our own worst enemies.
And I don't even think it's just a creative thing. I think it's often, not all the time, a human thing. Yeah. And we are like our biggest critics. Oh, I didn't get this done today. I didn't do that. This didn't turn out. Oh, it doesn't look like their artwork. Oh, yes, I've never been able to do something like that. I never can. It's not true.
Yeah, it's totally not
It's
true.
the negative voice in your head. And to everybody listening, I got my own up there. And it's like, oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Jess, don't mess this up. Like,
What are you doing?
what is this
Come
that you're looking
on.
at? Like, come on.
Yeah. Yep.
Why
Yep.
did you choose this drawing?
Is that even a straight line, Val?
Like,
Come
yeah.
on. Can you
There's
draw?
no straight lines.
There-
Like,
mm-mm. There's no straight lines unless I'm holding shift.
my sunshine like rays will probably be the only direct straight line on here. And that only happens because technology helps me draw a straight line.
Hey, hey. But you know, we are our own worst critics, and it's really easy for us to perceive other things the way that we imagine, like, the way things must be. But I think a lot of what I found, especially like kind of being a part of the Adobe Live team and coming here and just like watching other streams and stuff, is that some of the people that I perceive to be like absolutely perfect artists, not that they're not perfect, but like I had this idea in my head that like when they sit down and make art, they go from point A to point B, start to finish, boom, they do it, it's perfect, it's amazing, and they get it right on the first try. And then I show up to watch somebody design and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just like me. Like they're struggling a little bit through the process, they're a little indecisive, they're a little
indecisive
unsure.
thing.
Yeah. Seriously, like it's a big part of it. So it's never be down and on yourself for those things, because that's a natural part of the creative process.
I completely agree, and that was actually part of my thing of why I had a sketch done this time. I was like, no, we're not starting with a concept this time, we're starting with the sketch.
I do that a lot.
I feel like otherwise I would have been sitting here going, oh no, I shouldn't do this might look stupid.
But you know what? Talking about it is important.
Yes.
Also, like I also start with sketches sometimes when I do art here, and that is because I can talk about the sketch. I could do a demo of the sketch. We can all kind of get the gist of what the sketch process is. But do you really want to sit and see me struggle through like control, undo, undoing like the same kind of curve I'm trying to draw? So sometimes when you have something prepared as a creator who's presenting, you have like a little starting point. It kind of helps with the confidence thing of like, because it's very different to get like to design on your own versus, kind of doing a broadcast and showing everything to everybody. It can feel strange. And I think that the little voices, that are hypercritical of our work are a little bit louder, when you're showing it off and doing that stuff. So Cody says, oh yes, especially on stream, it's a lot less pressure to start with a sketch done. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And Cody's a master too.
She
at
is.
Exactly that.
She so is. We just talked about like never assume that everybody's process is easy and perfect and and then we're just like, except Cody.
We're like, Cody, you're amazing.
Cody's masterful. Cody's fabulous. I adore her. I've adored her for a very long time. And if you don't know Cody, she was my moderator
last year too.
Yes.
I was very happy, Cody, you're back. And I do have to interject because I want to say something somebody else put in the chat. Allison said, as a trained scientist and educator, mistakes can lead to fortunes.
Ooh.
Fortunes.
Ooh.
Love
that.
Love that.
That is amazing.
Like, pause, everybody. Sorry, I got to do a quick screenshot of that because otherwise I'll forget that, and I need that. I really like that. Thank you, Allison.
I also kind of remember. I don't know. I feel like everybody knows who I'm about to talk about. Like a lot of people are familiar, and if they're not familiar with his name, then you probably have seen him and you know what he looks like. And maybe
I think I know where we're going.
Maybe it's the default guy that does art that offers positive vibes, but don't you just love the words of Bob Ross and just doing I used to watch that, the Joy of Painting with Bob Ross, I believe it was called. And I think that it's kind of along the same lines of just like, happy accidents,
happy little clouds,
happy little trees,
happy little trees,
getting into it, right? And just enjoying the process. And that one of the things that really stuck out to me was like, you know, he would not that he made mistakes often because he did those paintings so many times, but you know, if he was just like, and if you do this, that's okay, don't worry about it, you can just do this, this, and this, and you can, you know, kind of work it out and do your thing. And he was just like the ultimate like feel good person.
He made it okay to be human.
Yes, exactly.
And I think we all struggle with that some days.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
With a bunch of things.
Yeah. And that's, I think, it's something that I try to, you know, remember, because it's, and along the lines of what we're talking about, it's just like, not, you know, don't be so hard on yourself. Like at the beginning, I was like, Jess, I will not allow you to downplay how cool you are. It's not going to happen. You know, sometimes we need to do that for our own brains.
Yes,
though,
you are right. And it's that self-deprecating nature that I'm often reminded of. But
I think artists do it a lot.
Yes.
You know, because it's just a weird art thing. And I'm sure people in general, you know, it's kind of a human thing, but artists, we have to look out for each other, and we have to kind of make the decision to try and look out for our own selves a little bit better when it comes to being positive. Like your inner monologue as a creator and designer, the way you speak to yourself is very important, because I stopped to think one day, when because I was just down about my art. I thought I hit like a wall. I was like, where's my art going? What am I doing?
What am I doing?
Am I actually good? You know,
and then you spiral into all the other areas.
Yeah, and you're just kind of like, it's just all bad. And I thought to myself, I was like, I actually wrote down the thoughts that I had in my head, and I wrote it down on paper, and I looked at what I had been thinking about myself in my own head, and I thought to myself, I'm not really very nice to myself when I think about my art. And so I tried to change that inner voice, the inner monologue, and instead of saying, wow, you're awful, you don't know what you're doing, I try to think to myself, you know what, we could try this again, or you know what, that's fine for now, we'll do it again next time, we'll get it, you know, and just try to change it. It's really important.
You know, Val, that entire thing you said, my partner's at work right now, but I know later on when he watches this, he's going to be like, exactly what she said.
Exactly what she said. I like
That's why I started smiling as soon as you said it, because I'm like, oh, I can hear it.
Annika says, need to stop judging ourselves. Yeah, I mean, it's, I feel like, you know, you put your artwork out on the internet, right? And you get a lot of feedback from a lot of different people, some good, some bad, some not helpful, some really not helpful, some you super useful, you know, and supportive, but you get a lot of different things. And I think that, you know, at the source, it should at least be good and positive, you know, rather you actually like what you, because that doesn't mean like you have to like what you make all the time, you have to be satisfied with what you make all the time, but like be kind, you know, to oneself. I needed this pep talk, Val. You're welcome.
We have a bunch of people. All right, so everybody that's watching that feels this, you are not alone.
Yes,
at all.
Not even close.
Not even mildly. Like I feel like a lot of us, you know, that's why I always, one of my biggest mantras is like, be kind. You know, I want people, I'm not always great at it. I am human, you know, I get cranky. People will tell you.
Cranky too.
Right?
Better give me my coffee in the morning or you're going to find out.
Speaking of that, I do think it's time for another sip of green tea.
You know what? I thought you would really like my cup. So isn't it cool? It's like, yeah, it's like blue glass with like moons and stuff. Yeah. So I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee. Everyone else hydrate, by the way, if you got some water or something.
Take a drink. Sip. Bliss Golden Rose said, I'm glad I made it a point to be here today. Oh, me too. I've had a rough week. Wonderful. Humans, I've had a rough week. There was some makeup involved today. Like it's
just kind of, you know, it's put it on, you know. I think
I'm glad I'm here today. So
I'm glad you're here today too. It makes my day. This is an excellent start to my whole week, honestly, you know. And that's
it is Monday. The week's been so long. It's Monday again.
I know again. Really? But I think that's another thing that I try to remember, and you folks should all remember this too, is that you really never know how your creations and how your work and your creative voice is going to affect other people.
Yes.
And so, showing up and doing something creative or sharing something randomly one day, even if you're not, it's not the most perfect thing, like kind of getting away from that fear of like not thinking that what you have is good enough and not thinking that it's great enough to post or whatever. Share it, share what you're passionate about and have fun doing it, because you might post something that really touches somebody's life in a positive way. And have no idea because you are not confident in that work, or you don't think that it's good enough. But I've had some people post some things where they're just like, you know what, not to joke around, but like the whole like kind of cute, might delete later, here's my sketch of like this character, I'm not sure about it, whatever. And then I see it and it inspires me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to tell them that's awesome, because if they don't think that's good, they're just they need to know.
That negative voice. Anytime I see somebody do that, I'm the same way. I'm like, you look good, or you good, like, yeah, you're all right, you don't worry about that, like, it's fine.
You got to give yourself props where props are due, even if it only lasts the 5 minutes until you actually take in your painting again, because that's something that happens too, right? Is like you finish something and then you're like, you know what, I'm good at my job. I'm good at my job. And then you go to sleep and you wake up the next morning, you're like, what have I done? I don't know. But like, at least in that moment when you finish it and you're just like, you know what? This looks good. I'm proud of me.
Except I'm not getting the swirl right now. So we're going to, on that one. And I got to say, hey, welcome to the chat, Jack. Jack Watson in the house. Another live streamer.
I have actually, I don't know if
I love y'all.
Jack knows this, but I have been lurking a little bit in Jack's streams lately.
She's the best.
She's fabulous. Cool.
I've interacted with Jack for a bit of time now, and good human. I've loved, I know this last couple of years have been rough on a lot of us. I will hands down. See, the swirl's not working. Anyways, I will hands down say that the Adobe community has really been huge.
Oh, yeah.
And so grateful. All right, we're going to stop with my little swirl thing because it's not working for me right now. So we're going to, this is how, I bounce around with things. I'm like,
But to your point of like, the Adobe Live community, Adobe community in general has been, kind of for me, like kind of a support system. Honestly, it's been really awesome just to have this wonderful interaction with all these amazing people. And like, where else are you going to show up to talk about graphic design, digital painting, ice cream, and SpongeBob, like and memes? Oh my gosh! Don't ever tell Alex I said memes first before I said memes.
You know what, Val? I got really bad news. You probably picked the wrong place to like
to accidentally slip with that. Yeah. Somebody's gonna send him like a recording of this. This is so incriminating. It's on the internet forever. Can you use the blob brush to make the smooth look? Oh, that could be interesting. I don't know if it would match with the rest of the motif, but it could be. Can you? So just a question. When you use the blob brush, can you put a stroke on it afterwards, or is it just like a solid?
So often we pretend to know everything. I don't at all. So we're gonna test it out and see how that goes.
Yeah, let's try it.
Because I've always been like I said, I've been a huge fan of the pencil brush. And as I'm doing this, I'm like, when was the last time I did a piece with the swirly kind of effect? I do a lot with like rainbows and whatnot.
I love that.
Right? And that's
I actually really
Let's see. We're going to do a little test.
Yeah.
It will let us do an outline. So that is good. I think it just didn't want to do that. So there we go. We got that.
There we go.
But I got to test my gradient.
Oh yeah.
I gotta make sure. And actually, as my brain, as I'm saying all this, is coming back to me, and I'm like, this is how you did it before.
This is how you did it before.
A few times.
I'm gonna search through the chat and make sure I haven't missed any questions, by the way.
Awesome. I'm trying to keep an eye, like kind of keeping a little glance, but I know I'm missing things. So if I
Brittany
miss
says,
something.
these live streams have made me feel like there are so many more people like me out there. It's an amazing community to be part of. I'm so grateful for you guys. You are fabulous, Brittany. That just touches my heart, really, truly.
Yep.
Let's see. Bliss says, haven't posted on Behance in a minute, mostly because of that. I imagine you're talking about like just not feeling confident, like kind of after you finish something. And I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Ryan says, yes, you never know who's looking at your work. Indeed. Jax is such a positive chat. But it's Jess, of course, yes. Jess is,
Thank you, Jack.
Fabulous. Jeff says, for me, art is therapeutic. So sharing it is always a challenge because it's so personal. And I didn't make it for anyone else. That said, it's nice when others vibe on it. Yeah. That's the thing too, is that, I mean, how do you feel about it, Jess? Because I feel like because people are creating, even if you're not creating it for therapeutic reasons and you're like going into it, like doing like like taking it as like a task, and you're just
I get it.
Your job,
I mean,
with it being your personal work, when somebody says something against it, it can sometimes feel a little bit like a personal attack, right? Because you're like, I made this with my brain and my heart, though.
I put all this time in it. Yeah, it's I have found that the artwork I work on for me gets way better feedback.
Really?
When I try to make something and I'm gonna be like, yeah, this is gonna blow them away and I'm gonna get all this work from it. Yeah,
this is gonna blow them away.
Those are the ones where I'm like, oh, crickets. Like, anybody? I put a lot of time in this. Anybody? So I've found that like the initial outcome does, like the initial goal does affect the outcome in the end and like the feedback. I have anxiety, I have depression, I have really bad days, and I've always been very open with people in my life, and I've been trying in this past year to be more open with people in this community too, because I'm realizing there's so many of these themes that we're all carrying. So honestly, this that I'm working on now was a sketch that I thought I'd probably do one day for myself, and kind of went, we're going to do it on Adobe Live.
Let's do it. Yes. Ooh.
And, this was a personal sketch, and superpowers always seem scary until we learn how to use them. I had done like a group meditation at some point in the last year, and that was one of the thoughts I had during it. And it was kind of going with, if you're sensitive, you're probably really empathetic, and you're able to read what other people are going through. And as much as that might hurt, that's a superpower.
Definitely a superpower.
So
absolutely.
That, this piece was kind of, I just remember, I think Ryan Marsh had actually asked this earlier, saying this piece should have a name, and kind of in my head, it's evolution of the self. And that's why we will have, a tree growing out of the planet, out of the earth. We're going to have, I love making space scenes with the gradients and the star points in Illustrator. So we're going to have one of those.
Yes.
That's why I haven't decided if this is just going to be a ribbon or maybe it'll be a rainbow. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But that connection of it, and the tree is going to represent, different seasons in your life, because life happens.
Yeah.
And so, this, when I look at it, is going to be a personal piece, because there are those components to it that are from a personal level. One day, I've talked to a few people, I think maybe in the chat, one of these days I'm going to do a series of my nightmares. And it's going to be like night and day, literally, between everything.
I'm here for it. Also, Ryan says, can we just get a shout out for the eraser tool for its mad skills?
Look at this. Yes. Ryan pointed out, and we're going to do this. Nope, not right there. But this is usually how erase segments if it's something long, like the ribbon rainbows that I have a tendency to do.
You are blowing my mind right now.
And that's how you can. So we're testing. I kind of skipped ahead because we're going to do this. We're going to make sure that everything works like I want it to, because we talked about that planning thing. It doesn't always work out. But I'll do the long stroke and I will cut out those segments. And, sometimes I'll go back and really make sure it lines up. I'm not doing that right now. But I wanted to kind of check out and see and make sure that I can get the piece I want. Like this guy. Let's try this one. This one right there.
Yeah.
If anybody was to listen to me when I draw like the monologue in my head.
I'll tell you when I draw, because I try to make a habit of like not being so mean to me.
Yes,
so don't actually
we're gonna work on that
thing, but you know what word that I do say all the time, and it kind of just means I'm frustrated. I just go, what? Like by myself in my office, and I'll make a mistake and it's not what I want. What? Bow.
What are you talking about?
What?
You're fine.
And the people are like, who are you talking to? Don't worry about it.
Just having a little self-talk.
Little
self-talk.
Disappointed in myself, but we're getting better. We're being positive.
Ooh, okay. And you know what? We have good news. Everything's working. Blob brushes coordinated. We'll be able to do our
the gradient
shadows with our gradients.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I keep patting my face when I get excited about what you're doing, but it's been
I do the same thing. Like I'm always like,
oh my god, my mind is blown.
Anthony Jackson just actually had a question. Are the layers being grouped together? Yes, the layers being grouped together, because when you do it with a blob brush, it's technically all one piece. So when you go in and do the eraser, it's not cutting the strokes, it's keeping them together, but you can still separate them. And I usually separate them. Otherwise, when you go to select it, like all the gradients want to be applied and it's not ideal.
I am hunting through chat just to make sure that I haven't missed any questions. If anyone posted a question, because we got a lot of discussion kind of going on in the chat. If anyone posted a question and it kind of went up and you didn't get an answer for it, feel free to post it if you want to repost it. That's totally acceptable. I know that sometimes folks get into the chat and they ask a question, and if it gets missed, they feel a little
yes, we're not ignoring you.
No, we are not ignoring you. Feel free to post it until you get an answer. Yeah. Yes. But I mean, you shouldn't have to keep reposting it to get an answer. But if you
I will laugh if anybody does that right now.
You know what? I posted this 27 times and I still want to know where to find the blob brush. I'm sorry. No, but just because I'm looking through and I'm seeing a lot of stuff, but I just want to make sure that nobody got kind of washed away in the sea of positivity.
Yes, because we appreciate you.
Yeah, I want to make sure I can answer everybody's questions. So also, but you know what I want to know is I want to know what folks are working on. And I also am absolutely loving how this gradient is kind of coming together. And I'll tell you, Jess, I have never used the gradient tool in Illustrator on iPad either. So how to kind of walk me through this? Maybe?
All right. And you know, as we were sitting here, I'm like, I got to be honest, this is like the longest I've ever had like a blank drawing. So we're going to start putting some color in. I jump around when I create.
Let's go for it.
We're going to start, and I'm thinking as of right now, this might be a rainbow ribbon. So we're going to start with the color blue. And so, all right. So I kind of already separated that portion of the ribbon that I had erased through. And we're going to grab this next piece, and I'm actually selecting it from my layers panel. Sometimes it's just a little bit easier to do it that route. And then I'm going to go over to my color palette. Actually, first we're going to get rid of the black outline because we do not want that on this one. And I'm going traditional, like we're going with standard Adobe Illustrator colors from the color palette. We're going with that. We might switch it up later, but kind of look down at that. And it's a good selection. It's what I want.
It's very it's kind of joyful, right?
Right. I see I like colors. I like happy colors. I did a lot of black and white line art for a long time using like Sharpies and Sharpie paint pens. And I've been very into color the last couple of years. So back to this. We got our color going on. And when you open your color palette, at the top, you see either solid color right above your color wheel, or you can select gradient. And there are a few gradient colors. Hold on a second. Now I said sometimes a life happens.
Yeah, it does. It's all good.
I think we might be there. This guy isn't going to want to do it. So what was happening is I'm trying to add a gradient to this one.
And kind of change stuff up. Oh, gotcha.
I think it was showing because it was still like considering it a group. So not 100%. We're going to find out.
Okay.
Because when I was coming here at C, and this is life happens, it's program, it's technology. It's all right. We're just going to redraw this section. It's cool. That's fine. It happens. Let me see if I can try out this portion.
Yeah, we can just kind of skip it and
we're gonna come to another piece.
Also, I'm being asked what my favorite flavor of ice cream is.
See, I eating ice cream.
And I don't know if this is good news or bad news, but I have flavors of ice cream that I enjoy, you know, but my favorite ice cream is just like a good vanilla bean like ice cream, you know?
Talenti.
Yeah, or like
vanilla bean
kind of stuff, just like the creamy, like just regular vanilla ice cream, vanilla bean, because it has like the vanilla kind of stuff in it, you know. But I don't like fancy stuff. And when I go to a place that has ice cream, I don't ever get any toppings or anything. I just
rainbow sprinkles, sprinkles forever on all ice cream.
That's classic. I don't think you can not like rainbow sprinkles, honestly.
I'm never growing up.
Yeah, but yeah, I usually just get like just vanilla ice cream, or I will substitute vanilla ice cream. I will substitute for a scoop of, I don't know if anyone has ever had, there is cheesecake ice cream, and it's kind of like vanilla
strawberry
ice cream, but
cheesecake,
like creamy, you know? Yeah. And then I've also had champagne ice cream before, and that was. I
just had an idea. Did you hear my brain?
What was that?
I was like, I like the champagne idea, but bacon ice cream. And sorry, no offense if I have any vegans, vegetarians, no worries. I have many people in my life I love dearly that don't like bacon, and I accept it. But I love bacon.
I love bacon a lot. I just don't know if I can mix it with other things like that. My sister sent me a jar of bacon jam the other day, and I haven't opened it. I'm terrified.
It's a hit or miss. It's a hit or miss. So don't let it defer you when that day comes.
Okay. All right.
So I did want to come back and let's see if technology wants to work with me. Which, you know what? Sometimes it doesn't.
Or it may not. But you know what? We have a second day of this. So if
we do, we
can always come back tomorrow. We can figure
so much more.
Yeah.
So much more. So you know what? We're gonna leave the ribbon alone. I'm gonna do some testing outside later.
Yeah, let's do it.
We need to watch our language. But
we're not gonna mess with this because I need to watch my language. So
we're not gonna. I'm gonna be like, what are you doing? Beautiful. I get a call as soon as we're done. I'm like, I'm really sorry.
You know what, Jess? You should have left the ribbon alone. You should have abandoned the ribbon.
But I do want to show you gradients. So
yes,
I'm going to do this on a leaf. We're going to do it right here, kind of start it off. And first I'm going to get rid of that outline because I love outlines. Many people still have them. Usually when I do a very gradient, I feel like the gradients get overwhelming at the end. So it doesn't need to be outlined. So we get rid of that. Then we go back to our color palette, and this is the part where it's gonna work this time. So
hey.
Right above your color wheel. No, we're good on this one.
Okay.
We're gonna select gradient. And when you select gradient, you see you have three options pop up. Now, one will give you a nice vertical kind of line, and you can move it around.
Ooh, fancy.
So we'll be doing a lot of this. So that's actually like the basic one.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're going to make it green as well because it's a leaf. So you can also change your colors by clicking on each of the points on the node. So I like kind of subtle greens.
Mm-hmm.
I clicked on the other one and just move it around. So we've got that gradient. We've got a couple leaves. We're going to just show the difference between all the gradients.
That sounds great. Yes.
Right?
See
good ideas happen.
Also, we got some. Oh, I should never have mentioned bacon jam.
We're having a jam battle, aren't we?
You know what? We talked a lot of great stuff about Cody Bear, but she's talking about onion jam in the chat right now, and I don't know if I need to reevaluate some things or what's going on. But
actually need to stop on that note, because before that, if you go back a little bit more, Cody mentioned salty bacon mixed with something sweet is great. Oh, I misread that. See, that's why you always, read things out, even though it sounds gross. And she's not a big bacon fan.
Okay.
All right. So
not a bacon fan.
There's a vote.
It's onion jam.
Ryan said to throw it away. I think you should try it.
Just throw the jam in the bin. And then Golden Rose Bliss says, Val, if you don't like that bacon jam, let me give you my address.
Yes.
Cody's defense. Hey, it's great. I don't know why you sound like that now that I know you like onion jam, but I'm kidding. It's all love. It's all love.
Total love.
Yeah.
No matter what jam.
Only.
I'm seriously gonna have to leave. Go to the store after this and get bacon and ice cream.
But we were talking about gradients.
Back to gradients.
Yeah. Gradients.
So now we're back. We got the second gradient. The next gradient, the middle one, is a radial gradient. See, I even remembered that technical name. Some of these things I've been using for many, many years. I can't tell you any of the technical names. It's that doohickey thing there.
Mm-hmm. That doohickey thing there. Yes.
It's that little square thingy. But so we got our nice, continue on. We got our nice little radial gradient. One other thing to point out. Also, we want to make this one green. And do this green. We're going to drop it a little bit darker here. You can also tap on the line and add additional gradients.
No.
Yes. And then we can go even more detailed, and you've got this additional line between each of your nodes, and you can adjust it there as well.
What? That is amazing.
So that's all right. So that's your set. Those are your first two gradients. So we got the difference. And granted, I used slightly different colored greens.
But that's so.
You have the one. Now we have my favorite one, and somebody listening, because I know I have a ton of Illustrator pros on here. Mm-hmm. What is the third gradient called? Because I can't think of it right now. It's like a multi-point gradient. And this is my favorite. This is the one I use often to kind of get.
I am going to laugh if it's called multi-point gradient.
Probably.
It could be. Sorry, I cut you off there, though.
There's a good chance. I mean, anything's possible. But so, I mean, this might be like a given, but it has multiple points. Multiple points. So you can get really kind of focused. Also, another little trick. So, like, I'm moving this dark green one around. If I tap down again, it saves that same color.
Oh, okay. All right.
If I'm going to this lighter green one, and I tap again, I get the lighter green color.
So
it'll memory your last.
It'll just place it so you can kind of keep with what you're working on. So what does it look like when different colors interact? Because we've got greens and they're all working well, but how do other colors kind of mix in there? Oh man. Oh man.
It's my favorite. I think this is why like this app for me was so big.
So cool. Oh my gosh.
I love the gradients.
Good.
And
it looks perfect.
And so also for and Jack got it. It's freeform gradient. Thank you, Jack.
Freeform gradient. Okay.
I knew I'd have an expert in the room with me. Somebody that remembers the names. But for the freeform points, you can also adjust the ring.
Oh, that's
so you can kind of change
kind of
how
make
much
one a
those
little more.
colors. Yeah. So there's a lot of fine tuning to it. Come back tomorrow because I will also show you. I'm not going to show it to you now, but I will use the gradients for shadows as well.
Ooh.
Because you can set some of the points to clear.
That is brilliant. That is super brilliant. Okay.
I'll be showing how I do that. I kind of want to make like my tree rainbow colored now.
I mean, you could, because
that was not the plan, but like
you are the master of this realm, Jess. You can do whatever you want to do, honestly. None of us can stop you except Paco.
Paco, we appreciate you.
He can. But I can't. I'm so excited about this, says Brittany. Brittany is like freaking out. Nourish says the blushing leaf, and I feel like that's like kind of a cool title. The blushing leaf. I like it. Let me look through here. Okay, so I have just learned that onion jam is not what I thought it was. Onion jam is something you put on like a cracker. When you said onion jam, I was thinking about onion jam in a PB&J sandwich. Okay. That's what my brain went to, and I was horrified. But now that I know that it's like a savory kind of thing, I think that's much
all right.
better.
Yeah, that does. So maybe you should try the bacon jam on crackers then.
Oh my gosh. Yes. It's probably not for PB&Js. Why do I just assume
I thought the same thing.
All jam and jelly goes in a PB&J sandwich. Wow. Okay. I just did you guys see me just grow up for a second? Did you guys notice I just got like that much more
evolution of the self? You just leveled up another level. You leveled up the jam level.
Goes in a peanut butter jelly sandwich. What? Mind blown. That just blew my mind. Okay.
You leveled up.
I did.
The jam level.
It's sweet onion jam. Okay.
We're really helping out the grocery
It's savory.
Today.
It's savory in my mind. That's end of story. End of onion jam story. And Bliss is mad because Bliss thought that she was getting a jar of bacon jam mailed to her. Sorry.
That was I mean,
bacon jam is for burgers. That sounds great. Okay. This is a lot of jams that I didn't know existed. I don't know. I appreciate it, folks, but I don't know if I need all these jams in my life. I was perfectly fine surviving on my own without the knowledge of all these strange jams.
I just showed up today hoping to draw, but I'm grateful for the jam lesson.
What you just did with this sun is just totally blowing my mind. That is beautiful. It's beautiful. So now I'm like really seeing this in action. So this is
yeah, that's why I needed it. I looked at it and I'm like, you know what? I kept thinking in my head we'd show up today and I'm like, oh, we'll start here and we'll do the whole outline. No, that's not happening.
You know what?
We're gonna add some color. We're gonna go back and forth.
Yeah, the difference between like doing something on your own and doing something on stream is like, now we have the shenanigans and like the conversation to do at the same time. So it can be
my brain's like, focus.
Do it.
Focus, Telmanik. Focus
no
on what
more
you're
bacon
working
jam. Bacon jam.
Bacon jam out.
Shakes fists to the heavens. I was so close to that bottle of bacon jam. Bliss is like having a crisis in the chat. No.
Oh, Bliss, I understand. Like, I own multiple bacon t-shirts.
Amazing.
Yeah, different. I even have a bacon and coding t-shirt. I have another welcome to the dark side. We have bacon shirt, nice little Star Wars shout out. Oh yeah, Star Wars and bacon. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I am going to be very adult and professional, and I'm simply going to say that I appreciate the shirt and not transform this entire stream into Star Wars. I'm gonna let it go.
You know it. It's funny because I'm sure there's a lot of people that know me that are watching, going, "We're proud of Jess not transforming this call into a call or a stream about bacon."
Oh, okay. All right. All right. We're both growing and evolving today.
Oh, and I have a bunch of people I'm really close to that are vegetarians. So like I always also have that mental conversation where I'm like,
maybe, yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean. You've got so many points on this sun right now and it looks so good.
oh, we're not even close. Well, we'll add some more in here too.
You really do like start to kind of sculpt with it.
Yes.
I would never have thought to use it like this. I would have just put points around the edges and had like maybe 4 or 5 of them, but you're really coming through here and sculpting.
Give me all of the gradients
on this gradient. This is amazing.
Thank you. And here's another lesson for anybody new to Illustrator.
Mm-hmm.
So I like this color. I was kind of sticking with my palette.
Mm-hmm.
For anybody, and it is very recommended, it is many people's styles. For anybody that wants to do a color palette, there's Adobe Color that's amazing, and it even checks for color blindness and other things, so like everybody can see it. I usually try and check my artwork afterwards to make sure there's no drastic, I want people to enjoy it. But for a lot of stuff like this, I kind of just go, ooh, I like this color. Let's do this color. So
look around, experiment.
I'm going to go down here. I'm going to add. Curses.
Sentence enhancer.
Curses. And as I was getting upset, I totally got distracted. We'll get back to why I just said curses. But in our chat, Brittany said Adobe Live bacon onion jam t-shirts for everyone. Yes.
We literally have the power to design this, like among ourselves here on stream and in the chat. We could design a t-shirt.
And then Bliss also said Jess should do a bacon tree. Someone should do an animation of a farmer with some bacon seeds. I would watch that animation.
I would. I often think like whenever something like that comes up in the chat, I actually catch myself thinking, wow, that's a really good idea. If only I knew like a group of really creative designers all collected in one space who could bring this to life. And it's like, do you know where you're at, Val? There's probably 40 people in the chat who could bring this to life. Why don't you just somebody make this?
New challenge.
Yeah. Yes.
New challenge.
Yeah.
A new Adobe challenge. So, all right. What happened? Why I said curses? Why I was like, no. I'm sure the amazing Adobe team will make this happen for us one day, sooner than later. But what I went to go do is add a swatch of this particular orange. I can't add a swatch because you can't currently, it would take the entire gradient and it's too complex. So it will not save that gradient either. Okay. So I do want to save that color and I want to keep using that orange. So I'm actually going to tap out of there and get out of that object. And I clicked on my color palette. You have an eyedropper tool. And I'm going to go over here, take that color. Now I'm going to go down, hit the plus sign for the swatches.
Amazing.
And now I have my color in there.
Boom. Perfect. Okay.
There is always a way to do things.
Yeah.
It's just stopping and being like, but that was my curses. I was like, no, I want you. Oh, that's right. I need to do it that way.
Also, we've got Jess's Instagram and Behance in the chat
thanks,
right now. So please give Jess a follow. We have about 30 minutes, I believe,
so
maybe
quickly.
just over 30 minutes left here with Jess, just to give you folks a heads up and give you Jess kind of an idea of how much longer we have together. We will be back tomorrow, though, at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time for episode number 2. We're going to dive into this a little bit more.
Yes, we'll really get crazy.
We also have creative challenges coming up after this. We have a lot of stuff coming up after this, but directly after this stream, we will have the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge. And I hope that you folks will dive in. I did see some folks in chat talking about doing some other challenges and things. We do have a Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. We have an Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge. We have an XD Daily Creative Challenge. So you guys can kind of tune in and check those out, download starter files, learn some new things, or scrub up and refresh your brains on some cool concepts and stuff. That shadow behind the circle in the center of the sun right now, Jess, is just bringing me so much joy. Oh, that is so cool. I love it. And we're going to get back to this lovely sun that Jess is making, because I can't even focus enough on something that's not this sun, because this is, oh, I love it, because like the center has got that brighter color and it kind of fades down there on like the lower left, like into the dark, but it's like up at the top, there's like that separation, but it looks so crispy.
We might smooth. Even play with a little bit more too.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Also, because my art is not perfect and it never will be, because that's part of the process, I do have to call it in the chat. Fairy mentioned, is it just me or the biceps seem too big? It's not just you. The biceps are definitely too big. They're going to have to be balanced out still. Like, human drawings are not my thing. Though, they might stay that way. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
It could stay that way. I believe that there was a disclaimer about that at the beginning of the stream.
Yes,
we're going to come through here. We're going to sketch this stuff out. We're going to get our shapes in, and we might come back and clean it up. We might not. It may stay that way.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
As advertised.
As advertised. I'm one of those people. I'm like, here's what you get.
Yeah, here you go. You know,
we might surprise ourselves, but this is where we're at.
You know what though? But you said, you know, we kind of are getting this illustration from you today that you said was kind of one that you were doing for yourself, and you decided to share it with us. So I kind of feel like you going through and just like kind of doing it the way that you would do it on your own and do it the way that brings you joy is really kind of wonderful, just to see you enjoying and kind of digging into this. And I mean, rather you fix those biceps or not, I'm taking away a wealth of knowledge about like the Adobe Illustrator for the iPad app today. So I don't know that it matters too much if you decide that that's what we get.
So I was just thinking, I got another great thing I'll have to show you right now.
Ooh, please.
And I think, you know what, we're going to do it with the leaves. This is just easy. Anybody, just like all technology, duplicate.
Ooh.
Duplicate.
Ooh. Nice.
Also, if you're new to Illustrator on the iPad, what we have down here, once you have an item selected, with the direct select tool, you can adjust your opacity.
Ooh, okay.
You can change the stroke width from right there.
Nice.
Instead of going back in your color palette. You can arrange.
Oh, you can do that with a slider?
Uh-huh.
What? So wait a second. It looks like it arranged there, but it did not arrange lower than anything that's not in that group.
Yes.
Okay.
That actual layer. I did the tree on a lower layer. So it's not, so it's on there. So
amazing.
Let's see what else we got here. Then you also can move everything around, lock it. The grayed out symbol right here is actually for grouping, and then you can duplicate and delete. So the trick I actually want to show you, that was just, I figured, good time to explain. I'm going to select this green leaf because I really, actually, out of all the leaves I did, I love the colorful one, but I like this dark green one. I'm going to go over to the right-hand side to my little scissors. I'm going to copy the appearance. And I'll pull that up again. So you can copy appearance, paste appearance. And I selected copy appearance. And you're going to go to your leaf.
Oh, no way.
Paste, fill color, stroke color. We want to get rid of that stroke. So actually in this time, boom.
What? That is so awesome. So I could go through and I could make a bunch of, like, I could do what you did, and I can make like the lines and the shapes and everything I want, and then I can spend time like really making one piece really beautiful that I like, and then instead of having to like hope I get it right on all the other pieces, I can paste a pair. That is a game
So
changer. That's
it
amazing.
is super helpful. The leaves, I mean, and I'm sure somebody's thinking it. Yes, you can just duplicate that same one. You know,
Yeah,
you
but
could
what
just
if
go
it's
from
not a
there.
leaf? You know, what if you
Exactly.
wanted to do
So
that to something
my
else?
tree's right here.
Yes, yes, let's do it. Let me see it. Oh,
They're
yes.
all different shapes. So I want them to be different shapes, but I kind of like that color.
Yeah.
So, and that gradient.
Amazing. Oh, that is so cool.
And then you can still go back in and adjust, because this was the radial one. So yeah,
it's not
you
like
can just
set to that.
You can go back and slightly adjust them then. And that's kind of, I feel like, one of the details that for some of my pieces that are heavily gradient, that's the difference. Because you kind of think, all right, well, this tree would be in front, so we want that dark green shadow to be right there. This one's in front, so I want the brighter green right there. And then also, you know, if you're being very precise, taking into effects like the sun, which obviously I'm not.
Yeah. You can if you want, but we're not going to do that today.
Sunshine, you can't boss me around. I get to choose my colors and shadows on this one.
Again, you are the master of this realm, Jess.
So I kind of, you know what? I kind of want to give a little sneak.
Oh, we got Sin Lagos in the chat, by the way.
Hi.
What is up? It is good to see you. It's always a pleasure to have you in here, Sin Lagos. Thank you so much for stopping by.
I think
also
clever Devlin.
Ryan's cracking me up.
Ryan's the best.
The biceps. He said the bicep. That one bicep is big because that's her drawing arm. That's the arm she draws. just like a ripped, just super ripped, just furious drawing. And then Clever Devlin is in here. It's good to see you, Clever. Always wonderful to have you.
Yes.
Oh, that's so funny.
All right. So it is me, and this is all going to come together. This is going to be a drawing by 2:30 p.m. my time, Eastern time tomorrow afternoon. By 2:30 p.m. tomorrow, Eastern time, when we wrap up our second session of this drawing, it will be done.
Which will be 11 a.m. Pacific time, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time.
So I kind of wanted to do a little bit to the background before we leave, to kind of give an idea of the effect that's going to go in there too.
Are we going to do some space?
Oh, yeah. I think we might do a little bit of space.
Some space.
We're going to do some
space.
We're going to do a galaxy to start off with. And galaxy is probably like the wrong word for now, but that's what we're going to go with.
You're speaking to my heart though. Oh,
we're going to do, excited. I love stars. I love the stars and colors and everything.
I also like crystals and things. Like I have like a collection of like crystals and stones. Are you about
it would make so much noise if I grabbed them right now, but
I almost did the same thing, but I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna do that. Maybe I'll have a few specimens for you folks tomorrow, and we can
have a nice piece of sea glass.
Yes.
Recently acquired from Lake Erie
too. Oh, really?
Yes.
Nice. I get sea glass from Fort Bragg because they have the glass beach. That's a place that is very near and dear to my heart. But
I want to go there.
I love one of my favorite stones. Is probably my most favorite stone, and that is labradorite. It's kind of a tie between amethyst and labradorite, but labradorite looks like a small galaxy trapped in a stone. Yes, and you can get
I need to look up that one.
Yes, you can get like spheres of it, and it's like sometimes they're darker and sometimes they're like a little bit lighter, but you turn it and it almost looks like a little planet, and then it looks like you know, you have a glass sphere that just has a galaxy or a universe in it. It is so cool. So on the subject of loving space and things, that is a cool thing to check out if that sort of thing interests you.
Give me all that stuff.
No, not Fort Bragg. It's Fort Bragg, California. It's a town here. It's a seaside town with lots of camping, lots of ocean, cool things to do. You can go caving, you can go diving for abalone, you can go all kinds of stuff. But they have a beach that is glass beach that has I don't know if it's got a lot of glass on it. now, but it's this place because people are like, you know what? I saw it on Instagram.
I want to
so I'm gonna go get the glass. And I'm like, thanks for taking
my
all the
glass. I was gonna
Yeah.
take that.
I was going to go and look at it longingly, on vacation, but never mind. But there's this place in Fort Bragg where it's a very inspiring place for me, where glass from the ocean has washed up on the beach that is so old that it's broken into pieces and been like eroded away. So there's like soft pebbles, but it's like bottle glass and stuff. And there's so much there that there's no sand on the beach. It's only little tiny pieces of smooth glass pebbles in all different kinds of colors. All colors and things. Sometimes you can find pieces of glass that still have like the stamps and things on them so you can see what years they came from, and it's old. I
would spend a lot of time there. I would spend so much time there.
It's really cool. Very, very cool. So you guys could look it up and look at Glass Beach in Fort Bragg. I hope there's still glass there. I have like a jar of it that I got.
We all have those places.
Yeah.
I feel.
Fort Bragg is definitely my happy place. I would love to know if anyone has a place that's near and dear to their heart that is inspiring to them, or maybe it doesn't even have to be a place that you've been. Like maybe what is a place that inspires you folks to create, or just inspires a feel good feeling in you. I would love to know about places that are dear to you guys. Let's see. I'm cleaning mine under the sun as we speak. Oh, you have your crystals in the sun.
Love it.
Let's be friends. let's be buddies.
Like all those things most people think are weird. That's all the stuff I like.
That's all my jam.
The esoteric, the odd stuff. Like I love it.
Yes, I love that you actually just said the word esoteric.
Thank you. I like that I pronounced it correctly too. I think.
Yes, you did. Yes, it's a good word.
All right, I'm trying to do my stars, and we're having. That's why we're doing that. Okay. Sometimes you're like, oh, why is this program not working? And then you're like, it's because I have this set this way. It's literally me this time. Mm-hmm. All right, now back to my stars. I want to drop some stars in here. Oh, and that's the other thing we're doing. I want a round brush, basic round, because I just want to be able to tap the screen
and just make some stars.
Putting some stars in there.
I love it. I'm loving it. I'm digging it. Also, we got some people kind of shouting out their happy places. Ryan says the fridge. I'm right there with you, sir. I love the fridge too. It's got all my favorite snacks in there. But he says, I'm just joking. The beach. Sinlaga says the ocean is my happy place. As of late, the Colorado River too. Wonderful. I've never been to Colorado, but I hear it is a beautiful place.
I haven't either. Yes.
I'd also like to see like Montana or something. Like wide open spaces. I would love
so many beautiful places out there. It's kind of funny. Ryan, that is in our chat right now, is in England. He lives in England. He's from England. He's English bloke. There is a park that's kind of in his area that was a screensaver for Amazon TV.
No, really?
Like it popped up the one day and I'm like, I think that's where he's at.
That's so funny.
Like, I'm pretty sure that's, and that, I'm looking up, I'm like, I think that's where he's from. And it was.
That's so cool. That's really fancy that you live someplace where Microsoft was like, you know what?
Right. Somebody was like,
screensaver. That's inspiring.
It was a beautiful shot. I don't know who, uses Amazon Fire Stick for their thing, but it's like a screensaver you can put on. And I always look at the pictures because I'm like, oh, that looks nice.
Yeah, I know. I always do too. I like the little part, when I turn on my PC and Windows is like, it's almost like a little like clickbaity because it shows you this beautiful picture and then it's like the greatest thing about this place is ... and I'm like, fine, I'll click it, and then I click it, But I learned a lot about like very interesting places that way, and
Same.
I love like kind of seeing that, and it's like it helps to kind of like, you know, okay, so this is strange, but I
Bring
used
it
to
on.
see those pictures and I never used to click on them because I was like, I'm never gonna go there.
That
So why
negative
will I?
self-talk.
I'm never going to get to see this place, so I'm not going to look. And you know what? I started clicking on it, and it started inspiring me to do artwork. You know, and now I
Yes.
know a lot of cool things about new places. And so, if you see inspiring pictures like that, I think you should click on them, and I think you should
Yes.
allow locations to inspire your creativity as well, because it is actually something I never thought that it would just like a picture of a landscape. I'm always looking at like other art, or I'm reading stories or watching a movie, and that's what inspires my work. But lately it's been like my Microsoft screensaver. For real. And it makes me so happy.
Listen, those are the best things. Those are like the little things in life that if it ain't hurting anybody, it brings you joy.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Like life is short.
Sorry, I hope I always, so I have this thing that I do when I go to think about something, as I say, let me see. And I look at it and I realize that I kind of do that on the tail end of your sentence there. And I'm like, I bet she thinks I'm talking over her.
No,
I'm like, I should stop doing that.
Everyone watching this later on or watching it right now, me and Val got like a great vibe 3 seconds after we started talking. We're just like, yeah, you, yeah, me too, me too, really,
yeah.
really, like,
do we just become best friends? We are.
Val, I appreciate, and you're carrying it, because I just like went into La creation land for like 3 seconds, and when you said my name again, I was like, oh, that's right, people are watching.
We're here.
Wait, we're doing this right now.
Let us know what you're working on. Let's kind of jump back to it.
You know, I put a bunch of stars in there. We started working on some gradients for the background, which we'll explore that more in that kind of style tomorrow when I do shadows. But I realized, you know, we're getting towards that time. So I kind of wanted to make sure at least portion of this illustration as we leave today is, you know, gradient. We're going to deal with the meditating person tomorrow. We're not. That's tomorrow's battle, not today's.
And you know what? That is just fine. I think that people should be a little more comfortable, provided that you have the time for the particular job you're working on, you know, but like you should be confident and feel comfortable just kind of jumping to something else, because I used to force myself I was just like, well, like I'm not allowed to move on to the trees until I finish the character. I'm not allowed to move on to the sky until I finish the ribbon or whatever. And you know what? I'm allowed to do whatever I want in my own art.
I do what I want in my art.
Yeah, I do what I want. So, you know, and I always make the point, is just like, provided that you have time, you know, and you're not just saying, thank you for your input, client, but I do what I want. You know, like you do.
They hate it if you do that.
They don't like that very much. But you know what I mean, though. You know, it's just like when you're working on your own stuff, or when you're, you know, you got your groove down and you're kind of jumping through and illustrating and coloring and whatever it is you're doing, you know, allow yourself to jump around a little bit. Enjoy the process, you know?
You do not have to be perfect. Nobody has to be perfect. We spend too much time.
Looking really cool. Can't wait for those shadows. Hey, yes. Jack Watson says, love that soft edge created by the overlapping gradients in your sun, Jess. Yeah, I agree.
Thank you.
I'm kind of living for it right now.
Goal is to have that kind of effect everywhere by the time we're done.
We're talking about fishing in the chat too, by the way, and I love fishing. I'm a fisher person.
Not my cup of tea, but I know many people that enjoy it and love it. And
I say that I love to fish. I love to fish. I don't know that I'm good at it.
All right, see, that's irrelevant.
Yeah, thank you.
It does not matter if you're good at it. If you love to do something, that's okay. That's enough.
I love going fishing, but you know who is an excellent fisherman? And I was actually surprised and completely impressed, is our friend Gus.
I love Gus.
If you guys have not seen it already, I believe he has a YouTube channel. Yes, it's called Real Tackle Boys. like real Tackle Boys. And it's wonderful and wholesome and has fabulous videos. So if you guys want to support Gus, because we stand Gus in this chat,
yes,
you should do that.
I support that.
Jewel Khan, welcome in. You have a beautiful name, Jewel Khan. I think that's how I pronounce that. Let me know if I pronounce that properly. But hello, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you being here.
Hey.
Ryan says, "You pay me and I do what I want." That's how this works, Mr. Coffee Shop owner. That's how we do this. Would you like a logo? All right. I hear what you're saying, but I got an idea of my own. Don't do that.
I've had different clients. Some clients I can go to, and I'm like, "That's a horrible idea."
Yeah, but you know what? So maybe because we've got about 10 minutes left before we have to take off, maybe we can kind of say some words on that, because I am of the mind that because people ask a lot, like, what do I do when a client comes to me and they give me like a prompt and say, this is what I want, and it's absolutely horrible. What I do is, I do what they asked me to do, and then I take that concept and I make it more dynamic and make the changes that I would make, and I send that to them as well. And I say, this is what you asked for, but I took the liberty of making you something that I thought you might like to try out, and
really might help you like shine if you want to.
Yeah,
I've done that.
Send it with a compliment.
Most of the times I have had a few times where that did not work.
Really?
And they're like, no, we want to stick with this. And I'm like,
and you're like,
you're not allowed to tell people I did this. Like, don't refer me.
Yeah,
like, I don't want to be based off of this.
It's awkward then when somebody really wants a certain thing. And I like, to an extent, I think that like, as the designer, when somebody gives you something, like, you kind of want to be able to take that and make something dynamic and awesome. But if people are requesting lime green polka dots on like a sun yellow background, and it's not always going to work. You can't
I would say for like a luxury car, like for Tesla or something. Bad idea. Like, that's not what you want. And no, I feel like most clients are really, good, and they'll see the difference. But sometimes, we all have different strengths in life, and some clients only see like what maybe somebody higher up than them is telling them, like, no, we have to have it this way. Or this is how it's always been done.
Yes. Yep.
Not always a good thing. Like,
and I think it's important to keep in mind too, and this is something where I'm like, because sometimes I've gotten some prompts from some clients and I'm just like, why would you even think that this is, but
this
then
is not
it's
a good idea.
The thing is like, they hired me to create art, because either they're not designers and don't understand that kind of process and they need assistance, or they're designers, but it's hard to design for oneself, so they need somebody's assistance for that. If they could do it themselves and knew exactly what they wanted and could do it, then they would have no need of us, because they would just do it. But we provide a very particular set of skills, a particular service that is really valuable and important. And sometimes it's important to remember that when you do get those clients that just seem like, oh my gosh, this person does not know what they're doing, what they want. Why? They have no idea. Yeah, it's a lot of times that's exactly it. They have no idea what they want. They have no idea what might look nice, because they
have to
don't
show
have an eye for it. Yeah, and you have
to show them, be like, all right, you're saying this, but what about this? Is usually the best way. Like, what about this? Have you thought about this?
And it's best to show them. I'll tell you, I have had poor luck when somebody sends me a concept and then I say to them, because I can already tell, we're going to need to use a different color, we're going to need to do different pattern.
Do that. Yeah.
Don't say it to them right off the bat. Show them, because somebody, most of the time, somebody who's looking for a person to create something artistic for them, to do a creative design project for them, needs to see it, because if they don't do that sort of thing themselves, if you just say, well, I'm going to do it like this, this, and this, sometimes those, they can't visualize it. They need to see it. So show them, communicate with, the power of visualization and the power of like actually being able to put it down on the canvas and present it.
That is our superpower.
Yes, that is our superpower. We can literally, like they say that you can't create something from nothing, but we literally can just like summon things into existence. It's actually pretty darn neat. It's pretty cool.
When we started this, there was no color. Now there's color.
Now look at this. Yeah, look at this whole thing we've done. It's pretty awesome. Let me scroll through and make sure I haven't missed anything. How do you say no, or at what point? Get to the point, tell them how it's not going to work for them and their target audience, and nip it in the bud straight away. Yeah, sometimes that really does work. It's just saying, hey, X, Y, and Z. But I think what Ryan is saying, like kind of get to the point and stuff, it can be strengthened, and I assume you probably would show them things, but like always having that visual element with it, because the statement of like telling a client your idea is not going to work, it can be hard to say.
They don't like that.
No, they don't
like that
because they're like, I'm coming to you to pay you for this concept, and you're telling me it's not going to happen, and I don't understand why. But so there is kind of a finesse magic. It's a whole other superpower, to do it, but being able to say that with confidence,
makes a
even
difference.
If you don't feel it, and being able to show a visual representation of what you mean is good. Worst of the clients who ask 1 million people for feedback except their target audience. This is true. And if it goes to the pot, then just don't put it into your portfolio. It's hard, but then because I've had people who I did the job for them, and then not only was the job very difficult to do because of how adamant they were about specific things, they posted it on social media with a credit to me, and they warped it. Like they wanted it to be smaller, so they just dragged it into Photoshop and just went wah and squished it down, and then posted it, and they were like, art by Voodoo Val, and I was like,
I feel you on that one, and I know it hurt.
I just, what happened? I sat down, I turned on Twitter, I looked at Twitter, I turned off Twitter, I walked out of my office. I walked right out of my office.
You're just like, I'm done today.
I was done. I was finished. I was like, you know what? There's gonna have to be a conversation about this, but that conversation's not happening right now.
Now is not the time.
I just
now, yep. No, I feel you. No, I really feel it on things like that, because you're like, oh, but why didn't you just leave it like it was?
Yeah. Also, we've got about maybe 4 or 5 minutes left before we have to take off. So if there's any last minute questions, please don't forget to post them in the chat. Just forget about it. Also, is there any thing that you would like to kind of leave us with, Jess? Like if you want to shout out some good places to find you online where we can kind of keep up with you and the stuff that you'll be posting like this and in the future, so we can continue to stay friends and keep up with all your projects. Where can we find you?
So, and it's funny because exactly what I'm going to say, you're going to look at and be like, so yeah, you haven't posted in a while. Instagram is the best route. The last couple months have been social media sharing was on the bottom, self-care and clients have been a higher level. So I will definitely be sharing this to my Instagram. It's Jess Telmanik Art, all one word. And then I also will be doing a Behance project. Once again, Jess Telmanik on Behance, and I will be putting all of that on there. And Cody Bear, thank you always for being awesome with your links and just an amazing human. Parmeet Sethi just asked if I am using a stylus. So I'm actually using iPad, Apple Pencil, and then Adobe Illustrator on iPad. So This
Yes,
is the
indeed.
second generation Apple Pencil.
Where can I
I
share
love
this AI and bacon jam t-shirt?
I don't know,
What?
Brittany, but I need to see that. Did you really make a t-shirt?
Did you
We
really
had a
make it?
t-shirt made while we were, yes.
Oh my gosh, please send it to us so that we can show it on, I mean, we don't have very much time right now, but
Oh,
gosh.
we got to mention that tomorrow then, right?
Yeah, we have
Continue it?
definitely.
Yes.
Like it's gonna be like a feature.
Like we're gonna have to
yeah.
show that in a
Honestly,
edition.
I think it would be hilarious if everybody made bacon jam t-shirts. I would be down just to show off some bacon jam t-shirts that you folks do.
You know what, Val?
Because it would make my day. I don't know about you, Jess.
Like remind me, because I'll add that to the shirt on the person meditating.
Yes, bacon jam.
Like that's gonna what
Bacon
the shirt
jam.
says.
Yes, I love it. We're gonna do it. It's
like
happening.
somebody else is gonna look at me like bacon jam. That does not match the whole vibe, and I'll be like, you know what? Here's the link. Go watch it, and you'll know.
You will get it. You will understand. You will see it all. On Discord, yeah, I was thinking probably Discord is a good place. Yes, there we go. So
Discord. I'm most on most of the Discord channels too.
Yeah, it looks like she's going to be posting it in the Illustrator Discord. I wonder if if we do have the time just to if she's posting it
if you can find it, I'm cool.
Yeah, if we can.
I will keep creating art.
Design other, I assume, is where it's going to be.
She had said, "LOL, I'll be back." So if she doesn't get to it today, I'll have a moment. And we have an artist spotlight tomorrow too.
We do indeed have an artist spotlight tomorrow. If you are interested in being featured in a future artist spotlight, tomorrow we will have a spotlight tab up above the chat, and you can click that for more details on how to nominate yourself or another artist that you know or admire for a future spotlight. So it's actually a pretty cool deal. We hope that you folks will kind of join us for that. Again, we have the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge coming up right after this, so please stay tuned for that. Jess, it has been an absolute joy and a pleasure to stream with you today. Thank you so much.
Agreed. No, thank you. Agreed.
This has been just an absolute blast. Thank you, chat, for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to follow those links and follow Jess, but it is time for us to say goodbye until tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. We will be back for episode 2. Yes. But yeah, it's time to sign off. Thank you so much, Jess.
Thank you everyone for joining. Can't wait to see what this ends up being.
I know. I'm so pumped. It's going to be great. So until next time, folks, please stick around for all of the wonderful program we have coming up after this, and we will see y'all later. Bye.